Have you ever felt this sense of why am I doing all of this? Or what is the point of holding on to things so tightly? That is Vairagya, a feeling of detachment where you start seeing things a bit differently, like there is more to life than the things we usually chase after. One of the big reasons for Vairagya feeling is that deep down we start noticing that everything is temporary. Think about it, jobs change, people come and go, even our bodies and minds don't stay the same. When we recognize that nothing is truly permanent, it can make us question why we cling so tightly to things that don't last. Bhagavad Gita says the wise one understands that everything is impermanent. So, realizing this can make us want to live more freely without feeling like we have to hold on so hard. Then there is a whole spiritual side. At some point, many of us realize that the happiness we are looking for does not really come from outside things. You buy a new phone and it is exciting for a while, but then that excitement fades. It is like we are constantly chasing things that only make us happy temporarily. Bhagavad Gita has said, do your duties without attachment, without getting too hung up on success or failure. It is saying that real peace comes from within, not from whether we succeed or fail on the outside. Sometimes Vairagya also kicks in when we are just trying to heal. Let us say we have been hurt in relationships or felt disappointed by certain expectations. After a while, we naturally start thinking, maybe I don't need to be so attached to things or people to feel okay. This is more about protecting our hearts. Vairagya helps us find a healthier balance so that we are not constantly tossed around by every emotion. There is also the deeper search that happens. Sometimes we go after career goals, money, or social status because we think they will make us feel fulfilled. But when we actually get them, they might not feel as satisfying as we expected. It is like, wait, I have achieved this, but now what? This feeling can make us shift focus, looking for meaning that isn't tied to temporary success. The Bhagavad Gita has said these worldly pleasures are often the source of suffering. So when we realize this, Vairagya can feel like a natural response, helping us focus on what truly matters. Vairagya also just comes with age. As we grow older, we start to naturally shift from what can I get out of my life to what can I find peace and give back. This isn't giving up on life, it is just recognizing what brings real happiness. In Hindu philosophy, life stages reflect this, suggesting that as we age, we naturally turn inward, moving from external ambitions to internal contentment. And then there is the idea that we might be experiencing Vairagya as a part of our soul's growth. In the context of karma and reincarnation, it is said that our soul go through many lives learning different lessons along the way. If certain attachments or desire keep leaving us unfulfilled, we start to outgrow them. It is almost like our soul saying, this isn't where lasting happiness lies. At its core, Vairagya is about surrender. It is not about giving up. It is about letting go of needs to control every little outcome. Letting go is something that in theory seems so simple. Letting go of people, old hurt, unmet expectations, or past version of ourselves. But when we stand at the edge, looking out at all the things that feel so closely woven into who we are, releasing them can feel like letting go of a part of ourselves. Yet, as heavy as that burden might be, there is another truth waiting for us on the other side. It is the profound truth that we do not lose ourselves by letting go. We find our truest self. When we release what we no longer serves us, we make space for who we are meant to become. Freedom lies in the process of release. By letting go, we can shed the fears, the judgment, and the self-doubt that hold us back. We free ourselves from the weight of expectation that aren't ours to carry. We find the courage to embrace our authentic selves and to say, "This is who I am, unburdened and unafraid." Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean that we must erase the past. Instead, it is a way of honoring what once was while stepping bravely into what will be. It is about trusting that even when things don't go as planned, there is a greater plan unfolding, one that often brings us to places and people we couldn't have imagined. Each step of letting go, no matter how small, is a step toward liberation. It is a journey of transforming pain into wisdom or releasing the chains that once kept us confined, and of the discovery power we hold within ourselves. There is a huge relief in that. Imagine living without the constant worry of what if this doesn't work out. It is freeing. This kind of detachment allows us to engage with life fully but without being overly attached to the result. What is the purpose of Vairagya? Why does life bring us these moments of detachment? The purpose of Vairagya is to cultivate a higher sense of meaning. When we practice detachment, we don't stop caring. Instead, we learn to care in a way that is free from anxiety, greed, and possessiveness. We care from a place of pure love and inner strength where our joy does not depend on external outcomes. Imagine being able to give and receive without fear, to approach relationships and challenges without the burden of expectation. This is what Vairagya offers. In practicing Vairagya, we come to understand that true fulfillment does not lie in holding tightly to things, people, or desires, but in allowing them to flow in and out of our lives without clinging. Vairagya is the gateway to freedom. It breaks the shackles of our attachment and leaves us with the courage to live authentically aligned with our true self. Let's embrace Vairagya as a way of enrich, not limit our lives. Let's see it as a key that unlocks a life of meaning, a life where we are no longer bound by fears or by greed. With Vairagya, we learn to serve others selflessly, to experience each moment fully, and to find peace in any situation. When we let go, we realize the world in its true beauty, and we see ourselves as complete, free, and content. This is the purpose of Vairagya. Now let's talk about embracing Vairagya in a healthy way. Detachment can sometimes feel unsettling, especially in a world that values ambition and achievement. But remember, Vairagya isn't about giving up. It is about finding freedom within everything we do. Here is how you might experience Vairagya in a positive way in everyday life. If you are feeling detached in a relationship, use it as an opportunity to love unconditionally. Instead of expecting the other person to make you happy, focus on being happy within yourself. This shift brings a sense of peace and freedom, allowing you to love without clinging. Maybe you are feeling detached from your career or goals. Rather than forcing motivation, see if you can approach your work with curiosity instead of attachment. Aim to give you best but remain open to any outcome. This attitude transforms work from a burden to a form of joyful expression. If material things don't seem as exciting, it might be a chance to re-evaluate what truly brings joy. Explore interests, hobbies, and relationships that align with your value. Let go of pressure to own or achieve and instead appreciate the simple joy of life. If you are feeling Vairagya, here are some practices to help you embrace it peacefully. Spend a few minutes each day in meditation, observing your thoughts without judgment. Meditation naturally creates a sense of detachment, making it easier to see life from a balanced perspective. Start and end your day with gratitude. Appreciate the lessons life brings, even if they are difficult. Gratitude softens the experience of Vairagya, filling us with warmth. Regularly ask yourself what truly matters to me. Use Vairagya as a way to discover what is truly meaningful. Often this leads to greater clarity and peace. Allow Vairagya to deepen your compassion. With attachment, we often find we are more capable of giving love, support, and kindness to others, as our love is not burdened by expectations. In Hindu philosophy, Vairagya is often emphasized as an essential quality for those on the path of self-realization. The Bhagavad Gita, for example, teaches that detachment from desires and material possessions leads to spiritual freedom. Vairagya involves recognizing the temporary nature of worldly pleasures and turning one's focus inward towards and divine or the self. The four stages of life or ashrams, brahmacharya, student, grihasth, householders, vanaprastha, hermit, and sannyas, renunciation, place Vairagya as central in the later stages, especially in sannyasa, where individual renounce worldly attachment to attain spiritual enlightenment. In Buddhism, Vairagya aligns closely with the idea of detachment, anatta, which is essential for overcoming suffering. The Buddha taught that clinging to transient things leads to suffering, dukkha, and letting go is a way of attaining peace. Practicing Vairagya helps develop the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path leading towards Nirvana, a state free from attachment. In Jainism, Vairagya is crucial for achieving moksha or liberation. Detachment from worldly possessions, relationships, and the ego is central to Jain ethics, particularly through the practice of ahimsa, non-violence, and aparigraha, non-possessiveness. Jain practice Vairagya by minimizing their desires and adhering to strict discipline in thought and actions. Vairagya is not about rejecting life or responsibilities, but developing an inner detachment from possessions and outcomes. This approach allows individuals to perform their duties with balanced mind, focusing on the spiritual goal rather than getting entangled in worldly distractions. Remember that Vairagya isn't an enemy, it is a gentle friend reminding us of a peace beyond all attachment. Life is full of twists and turns, but Vairagya helps us to navigate with clarity, compassion, and purpose.